Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today. Chapter 331. But similarly, relying on instinct to absorb this energy, it was abnormally slow. Maybe it took hundreds of years just to grow a few meters? For the ancestral demon tree to want an inside out at the minimum cost to invade this world is simply unrealistic, he said. Lin Yuan sighed. From the current situation, he could also speculate on the circumstance of other demon tree seeds. They were either half dead like him now or had long since died due to various accidents. According to the initial memories of this sapling, that ancestor demon tree had scattered countless seeds into this world. Now alive, probably not many were left. Normal demon tree seeds, under the suppression of the world's will, simply cannot grow. But I am not a normal demon tree seed. Lin Yuan's thoughts fluctuated. Under the suppression of heaven and earth, demon tree seeds couldn't exhibit any innate talents. That's why it is now in such a sluggish state. But for Lin Yuan, if he couldn't exhibit innate talents, then he wouldn't. He just needed to create methods and abilities adapted to this heaven and earth, right? Although Lin Yuan had never seen any secret manuals of this world, the so-called secret manuals were just to save him some detours. With his against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan could directly perceive heaven and earth and comprehend the essential secrets of its operation to deduce the secret manuals he wanted. Such secret manuals, comprehended from heaven and earth, are completely adapted to the local world and will not be suppressed in the slightest. Let's begin the enlightenment. Lin Yuan steadied his spirit without the slightest hesitation. At this moment, he didn't feel very safe. A sapling a little over 1 meter tall, unable to move, would have no power to resist if targeted by any herbivorous demonic beast. Even a fierce beast passing by occasionally could deal a devastating blow to Lin Yuan. Your understanding is against heaven. You observe the operation of heaven and earth, wishing to comprehend the laws of cultivation. Your understanding is against heaven. You observe the operation of heaven and earth, wishing to comprehend the laws of cultivation. Your understanding is against heaven. You observe the operation of heaven and earth, wishing to comprehend the laws of cultivation. After pondering continuously for half a month, Lin Yuan finally comprehended a cultivation method suitable for his current self. Huff! Lin Yuan slowly mobilized it, and the surrounding spiritual energy began to converge, flowing continuously from the bark into the branches, and was eventually completely absorbed. Comfortable. Lin Yuan only felt his entire tree body warm and cozy, as if soaking in a hot spring. It's just that this method of cultivation is suitable for this early stage to transition, but in the later stages it should be used less. Lin Yuan thought to himself silently. He was presently a little over 1 meter tall, capable of drawing in spiritual energy only within a few dozen meters at most. If he grew to several meters or even tens of meters, a single absorption could cause a fluctuation of spiritual energy in several miles radius. By then, it would attract the attention of powerful demonic beasts and perhaps even the true powerhouses of this world. With the characteristics of a demon tree seed, innately rejected by life in this world, exposure would lead to unimaginable consequences. Therefore, if Lin Yuan wanted to survive, he could only keep a low profile. He absolutely could not expose himself without the power to sweep through everything. Based on my current speed of cultivation, in a few months, I should be able to control my trunk to hunt those demonic beasts. Lin Yuan estimated in his heart. As an offspring of a demon tree, he looked like a tree, but fundamentally differed from those immobile vegetation. In the beginning of his growth, he was completely suppressed by heaven and earth and didn't have any room to exert himself. Now Lin Yuan had a chance to breathe, and he could pass through the most difficult period by absorbing spiritual energy. Obviously things would get much easier afterward. Controlling branches to hunt prey was the most basic ability. And hunting prey, by absorbing the blood and soul of the prey, would increase Lin Yuan's growth rate even faster, without causing fluctuations in spiritual energy that could draw the attention of other beings. Several months later, a rabbit half a meter in size carefully approached from this direction. This rabbit, with soft fur and eyes that were actually purple, seemed extremely cute and harmless. However, demonic beasts that can live in the Black Mist Mountain range have basically nothing to do with being harmless. Such was the case with this rabbit. When it burst forth, its speed was extremely swift, surpassing even some of the avian demonic beasts. The purple-eyed rabbit slowly approached, its gaze fixed intently on a spot. There, amidst green leaves, spiritual energy visible to the naked eye circulated on the surface of the leaves. For the purple-eyed rabbit, this was an irresistible temptation. The purple-eyed rabbit did not possess high spiritual wisdom, but instinct told it that by consuming that leaf, it could undergo some sort of transformation. However, having lived in the Black Mist Mountain range all year round, the purple-eyed rabbit was innately highly vigilant, and even though the leaf was not far away, it did not approach immediately. Instead, it observed its surroundings carefully. Whoosh! After repeatedly confirming that there were no threatening demonic beasts nearby, the only thing beside it was a 3 to 4 meter tall tree with black bark and an unknown name. Finally, the purple-eyed rabbit relaxed its guard and, with a whoosh, pounced towards the leaf. However, the next moment, the lush green leaf disappeared. In its place were more than a dozen black branches that coiled around the leaping purple-eyed rabbit like serpents. It was as if the purple-eyed rabbit had thrown itself into them if there were other demonic beasts present. Squeak, squeak! The purple-eyed rabbit struggled violently. Under the threat of death, all its potential burst forth, but regrettably, as the black branches wound tighter and tighter, the force of the purple-eyed rabbit's struggle grew weaker until its consciousness completely sank into darkness. Ooh! Lin Yuan, having absorbed the purple-eyed rabbit's flesh, soul, and spiritual energy, began to sway his branches contentedly. Compared to absorbing spiritual energy from the environment, directly hunting and devouring flesh and soul sped up his growth significantly. A single purple-eyed rabbit was equivalent to Lin Yuan's arduous cultivation for half a month. You should know that this half a month of arduous cultivation was Lin Yuan's self-devised cultivation method. Without a cultivation method, a single purple-eyed rabbit might equate to several years or even decades of Lin Yuan's hard cultivation. Now, I finally have some ability to protect myself. After absorbing the purple-eyed rabbit's flesh and soul, Lin Yuan slightly relaxed. The lush green leaf he used to lure the purple-eyed rabbit was condensed from several months of continual absorption of spiritual energy through cultivation. It represented all of Lin Yuan's achievements during this period. To the leaf-reliant purple-eyed rabbits, it was akin to a wondrous treasure. In just a few days, Lin Yuan caught more than 10 purple-eyed rabbits using this method. I am now. Lin Yuan examined himself. Not visually, of course, but with his own perception. At this moment, Lin Yuan was nearly 3 meters tall, a significant growth from the less than 2 meters when his consciousness had first descended. As for strength, he could completely kill some strong demonic beasts, but for safety's sake, Lin Yuan still primarily targeted the purple-eyed rabbits. If I continue to grow, the innate abilities of the demon tree will gradually be unsealed and available for use. Lin Yuan thought to himself. The demon tree seed, when it first entered this world, was too weak, and so it was easily oppressed to death. But now, having survived the hardest period, Lin Yuan felt that his situation would become increasingly easier. In the time that followed, Lin Yuan continued using the lush green leaves as bait while seeking enlightenment, hunting the less intelligent purple-eyed rabbits, and even attracting and mercilessly dispatching other demonic beasts that gave him the opportunity and came to him willingly. Time passed, and after half a year and countless killings later, Lin Yuan's size had reached 7 to 8 meters, with hundreds of branches he could control. The purple-eyed rabbits within a couple of miles had almost been hunted to extinction by Lin Yuan. In a little while, I can consider changing locations. Lin Yuan made up his mind. Other trees would be immobile unless they became spirits, but Lin Yuan was different. He could easily change locations if he wished. Just as Lin Yuan contemplated moving in that direction, suddenly he felt a stir. He looked towards a certain direction. Chapter 332. 50 years later. Over there. Lin Yuan's mind tensed up. Since his consciousness had descended into this world, Lin Yuan had only encountered various kinds of demonic beasts and feral creatures. As for others, he had seldom come into contact with them. The main reason was that Lin Yuan was located in the Yunmu mountain range, which was a paradise for demonic and feral beasts. Is someone coming? Lin Yuan extended his senses and discovered that a young man and woman were approaching from several miles away. Senior brother, choosing Yunmu mountain range as the place for our training expedition, isn't it too risky? The young woman said in a low, cautious voice. How do you capture tiger cubs without entering the tiger's den? Junior sister, nowadays our sect has brought out many foundational heritages to resist the invasion of the foreign evil god. As long as we can get through this training, we will gain great benefits and opportunities. The young man continued. Yunmu mountain range, although dangerous, those demonic beasts are much easier to deal with than the puppets of the foreign evil god. If we are afraid of these beasts, how will we deal with the foreign evil god in the future? What you say makes sense, senior brother. Hearing this, the young woman looked at the young man with admiration in her gaze. Several miles away, Lin Yuan cautiously observed the young couple. Due to the language barrier, Lin Yuan didn't know what they were actually saying, but through their expressions and behavior, he deduced that the young man and woman likely came from an external force. Equivalent to the second layer, probably disciples. Lin Yuan thought to himself, the time flow speed in this world compared to the main world was 600 to 1, which absolutely shouldn't be underestimated. The strongest might reach 7th rank peak. Since discovering the young man and woman, Lin Yuan spent most of his time observing them. Regarding making a move to capture them, without thoroughly understanding the young couple's strengths, Lin Yuan absolutely would not make a move. Who knows if this young couple might have some powerful elder? Would killing them draw the attention of this elder? Lin Yuan's observation of the young couple was primarily to learn their language. With his against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan could generally learn anything after seeing and hearing it once. Learning a completely new language was no difficulty at all. He only needed to remember their pronunciation, and by recalling the tone and expressions used during those pronunciations, he could roughly figure it out. Tianqing World? Tianqing Great Alliance? Half a month later, Lin Yuan had eavesdropped a lot of useful information from the young couple. Firstly, this place was called Tianqing World, and currently the strongest faction here was the Tianqing Great Alliance. The Tianqing Great Alliance was a colossal entity formed from countless forces within Tianqing World to counter the invasion of the foreign evil god. Indeed, the foreign evil god has already started their move. Lin Yuan pondered thoughtfully. Perhaps many years ago, the foreign evil god had started invading this world but had never succeeded. That's why the ancestral demon tree had scattered its countless seeds into Tianqing World, attempting to invade through other means. That alliance hierarch of the Tianqing Great Alliance, his strength must have reached the 7th rank, and he's not just any 7th rank. Lin Yuan often heard the young man speak admiringly of the alliance hierarch. Over the years of the foreign evil god's invasion, if it weren't for the alliance hierarch repeatedly stopping the chaos, the situation would likely be much worse than it is now, allowing them to leisurely enter the Black Mist Mountain range for training. They're returning. Lin Yuan gazed towards the young couple. After hunting several second-layer demonic beasts, the couple had completed their training task and planned to return to their sect to claim their rewards. Lin Yuan didn't stop them because there was no need. They hadn't noticed him, and making a move would only reveal his presence. Continue the hunt. Once the young couple had completely left, Lin Yuan resumed his hunting of the demonic beasts. Now reaching 7 to 8 meters in size, ordinary first or second layer beasts couldn't escape once they came within 100 meters, all becoming Lin Yuan's nourishment. Several days later, it's time to leave. Now that the surrounding demonic beasts had almost been hunted to extinction, to maintain his current rate of cultivation, he must move to another region to repeat the hunt. Lin Yuan looked towards the depths of Yunwu mountain range, planning to move in that direction. The closer to the depths of Yunwu mountain range, the denser the spiritual energy of heaven and earth became, and similarly, the stronger the demonic beasts, which naturally helped Lin Yuan even more. However, before leaving, it might be worth dealing with that group underground. Lin Yuan's gaze shifted towards the ground. Yunwu mountain range, one of the top 10 mountain ranges in Tianqing world, was vast and extensive, inhabited by countless demonic and feral beasts. A large portion of these beasts lived on the surface. Yet still, there were traces of demonic beasts underground. The group Lin Yuan referred to was a group of Athrok mice. These rodent demonic beasts like to live underground, leveraging their abilities to burrow countless tunnels, even building a rodent underground palace 100 meters below the surface. Essentially a rodent dynasty. Lin Yuan had discovered the traces of these Athrok mice when he inadvertently entered a tunnel while exploring the underground with his roots, eventually finding their trails. Probably over 300 Athrok mice, the Mouse King has second-layer strength. Lin Yuan thought. The size of the Athrok mice was not smaller than that of a purple-eyed rabbit, close to half a meter, and the Athrok Mouse King was even 2 meters in size. Chapter 333. Like a reckless bull. Lin Yuan had waited until now to make a move, because he hadn't been confident before. He was afraid that taking action would startle the Athrok mouse group and cause most of them to escape. Over 300 Athrok mice, so much flesh and soul, even without counting the Athrok Mouse King, could greatly enhance Lin Yuan's strength. Not to mention, the Athrok Mouse King built its nest here because of a strain of earth element elixir? Lin Yuan carefully sensed and discovered an extremely pure earth element spiritual power diffusing and spreading deep within 100 meters underground in the Rat Dynasty. Lin Yuan guessed that the reason the Athrok Mouse King could grow to a 2-meter size was closely related to that strain of earth element elixir. Mine! All mine! Lin Yuan's eyes burned with fervor, and with a slight shift in his thoughts, hundreds of branches, as well as roots, began to approach the Rat Dynasty's location. Dozens of meters underground. Several tunnels ran in all directions, and gray Athrok mice half a meter in size constantly moved back and forth along the tunnels, bringing all the food they could find back to the Rat King. Suddenly, at that moment, an Athrok mouse suddenly stopped. It gently sniffed the air with its nose, sensing something. The next moment, before this Athrok mouse could react, a black branch, as tough as refined iron, pierced through it. Squeak! The Athrok mouse let out a miserable squeak, and soon, its flesh and soul were completely devoured by the branch. Next, it was the doom of the Athrok mice. One after another, black branches continuously pierced through Athrok mice, devouring their essence and souls, transforming it into their intrinsic strength in a virtuous cycle. Awesome! On the surface, Lin Yuan felt extremely fulfilled. A massive amount of Athrok mice's essence and souls transforming into surging power, replenishing his own. If it were just a normal demon tree seed, it couldn't possibly devour so many Athrok mice at once. It would have exploded. But Lin Yuan was different. As a 7th-rank evolver, he could rapidly absorb all the power under his control of the realm. For an evil god, there is some trick to it. As Lin Yuan devoured the Athrok mice, he thought to himself. The devouring ability he displayed at this moment stemmed from the innate instinct of the demon tree seed, which was the power of the ancestral demon tree. This ability had almost no side effects. You see, even in the main world's devour-type evolution path, consuming flesh and soul would impact the purity of one's own soul. But the devouring power of the demon tree was extremely dominant. Be it flesh or soul, both were nutrients for itself. Unfortunately, once it reaches the 7th and 8th layer, What matters is the comprehension of rules, and the accumulation of energy is actually not that important. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. The Scarlet Spirit Liquid, from the Red Kuan lineage, is the best example. The power of the Demon Tree Seed has an almost cheat-like effect below the 7th rank but becomes much weaker once reaching the 7th rank. We're getting close to that Rat King's underground palace. Lin Yuan's expression became slightly serious. 100 meters underground. A small palace spanned across. This palace, constructed entirely of dirt, though lacking in details, was considered a very fine structure for rats. However, a black branch swept lightly like a black dragon, crushing 1/10 of the palace. Squeak squeak. A 2-meter large Uthrock Mouse King sprang out, looking at the collapsing palace with a glimmer of anger in its eyes. As a second-layer demonic beast, the Uthrock Mouse King had developed some intelligence, otherwise it wouldn't have specifically built a palace to reside in. Seeing the palace destroyed, it naturally felt emotional turmoil. However, just as the Uthrock Mouse King was observing the black branch resembling a black dragon and considering how to attack it. Boom boom boom. Several more black branches swept over once again. Startled, the Uthrock Mouse King quickly retreated. Squeak squeak. The Uthrock Mouse King hurriedly squealed a few times. It signaled other Uthrock mice to come and protect it. However, no matter how the Uthrock Mouse King called, only a few Uthrock mice came, and they had just arrived when they were pierced by the black branches and rapidly turned to dust. Run! Although the Uthrock Mouse King had second-layer strength. Seeing this scene, where would it dare stay any longer? He instinctively wanted to run. In the depths of the palace, there was a tunnel personally dug by the Uthrock Mouse King. Connected to another place, as long as he emerged from that tunnel, the Uthrock Mouse King had the possibility to escape to freedom. Shoo! Before the Uthrock Mouse King could run far, he was surrounded by black branches that rushed over. The Uthrock Mouse King instinctively activated his life-saving measures. A dull yellow light rose from his body. But facing the continuous attack of hundreds of black branches, the dull yellow light on the Uthrock Mouse King's body eventually shattered, and the 2-meter-sized Uthrock Mouse King became nourishment for Lin Yuan's growth. This is comfortable. Lin Yuan exhaled softly, the branches swaying slightly. The second-layer Uthrock Mouse King was definitely the most delicious life that Lin Yuan had devoured since his arrival. The ample blood energy and fearful soul brought pleasure to both Lin Yuan's body and mind. That's about it. Let's see what that earth element elixir is. Lin Yuan's controlled black branches cleared the underground battlefield, and eventually reached the deepest part of the underground palace where the Uthrock Mouse King resided. There, a palm-sized spiritual plant was growing. Under the leaves of the spiritual plant hang several spirit fruits the size of a little finger, with faint vibrations of earth element spiritual power emanating from them. Is this the earth element elixir that could catalyze a second-layer Rat King? Lin Yuan inspected it carefully. He did not recognize what this spiritual medicine was. But it didn't matter, as he was going to directly swallow it anyway. There was no difference. Lin Yuan was just curious about what the mystery was behind such a small spiritual medicine. Let's eat it. Without hesitation, Lin Yuan's black branches swept in, directly devouring all the spiritual power and essence of that spiritual medicine. Done. Everything is finished. We can leave now. After devouring the Uthrock Mouse horde and that spiritual medicine, Lin Yuan was fully satisfied and began to control the roots, slowly moving towards the depths of the Yunwu mountain range. Although the demon tree could move on its own and was not confined to a specific location, its speed was not very fast. To avoid being noticed by other demonic beasts, Lin Yuan moved whenever there were no other demonic beasts passing nearby. Half a month later, Lin Yuan successfully entered deep into the Yunwu mountain range. This area was already the outer layer deep within the mountain range, with abundant spiritual power, and the number of demonic beasts also increased. Flutter. As Lin Yuan's branches swayed, he devoured hundreds of Uthrock mice, including the Uthrock Mouse King and the earth element elixir. Lin Yuan's body size soared to over 10 meters. The pitch-black main trunk and leaves emitted a chilling essence. As the offspring of the demon tree, Lin Yuan was naturally aligned with the evil faction. This won't do. I need to disguise my aura. Lin Yuan thought, if he continued to exude an evil aura, he could forget about hunting. Which demonic beast would dare to approach? It shouldn't be difficult to develop a secret technique to conceal and disguise one's aura. Lin Yuan began to comprehend again, creating a breath-hiding secret technique based on the characteristics of the demon tree itself. Your perception defies the heavens. You feel your own aura circulating, attempting to create a breath-hiding secret technique. Your perception defies the heavens. You feel your own aura circulating, attempting to create a breath-hiding secret technique. Your perception defies the heavens. You feel your own aura circulating, attempting to create a breath-hiding secret technique. Several days later, Lin Yuan successfully developed a breath-hiding secret technique. Upon activation, his evil aura began to converge. Instead, it emitted a harmless aura. Under these circumstances, some passing birds unwittingly stopped to rest on Lin Yuan's branches. Not bad, not bad. Lin Yuan had no interest in those frail birds. These birds hardly had any life force, and he was too lazy to even bother devouring them. That wolf demon over there? Lin Yuan's perception spread out and discovered several miles away. There was a den of wolves. The leader of the wolves was 7 to 8 meters in size, resembling a small hill. Just like that, time rapidly passed by. In the blink of an eye, 50 years had passed since Lin Yuan arrived in this world. Chapter 334 The King of the Black Mist Mountain Range. Outside the Black Mist Mountain Range. As one of the top 10 mountain ranges in the Tianqing world, no one knows how many demonic beasts and ancient medicines exist within the Black Mist Mountain Range. And these, to many cultivators, are undoubtedly endless treasures. However, 283 years ago, the foreign evil god invaded, and countless evil god puppets entered the Tianqing world. The various forces of the Tianqing world, under the threat of life and death, immediately formed the Tianqing Alliance, setting aside all grievances, gathering all their strength, to fend off the evil god puppets outside the world. As a result, most cultivators went to the battlefield to fight against the evil god puppets. The number of cultivators entering the Black Mist Mountain Range became much fewer, mostly consisting of the weaker younger generation. But even so, at the entrance of the Black Mist Mountain Range, many cultivators would still come and go every day. It was foreseeable how prosperous the Black Mist Mountain Range was before the invasion of the foreign evil god. Have you noticed, in the past few decades, the number of demonic beasts in the Black Mist Mountain Range has decreased a lot? Indeed, when I used to enter the Black Mist Mountain Range, I had to be extremely careful. At any moment, I could encounter a demonic beast, but now, it's rare to meet any formidable demonic beasts. What could be the reason? Could it be a problem with the kings deep within the Black Mist Mountain Range? At the entrance of the Black Mist Mountain Range, some cultivators were conversing in low voices. They often entered the range and could notice the changes happening within. The kings deep in the Black Mist Mountain Range is unlikely, right? Those kings, with noble bloodlines and long lifespans, would they encounter any problems? In the past, every few decades, those kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range would command countless demonic beasts to initiate beast tides. But since the invasion of the foreign evil god, the powerful demonic beasts of the Black Mist Mountain Range have become much more docile. It's not that those kings have problems, but the number of powerful demonic beasts has decreased. Could it be the doing of those kings? After all, the ones that can command many demonic beasts are only those kings. That makes sense. Many cultivators were discussing animatedly. The reduction in the number of powerful demonic beasts in the Black Mist Mountain Range had a certain impact on them, making it difficult to hunt valuable demonic beasts. But if it really was the doing of those kings, there was nothing they could do about it. Those kings are powerful and have profound foundations. Even during normal times, the cultivators on the human side couldn't contend with them, only able to set up contracts. Besides, most of the human forces are now focused on resisting the invasion of the foreign evil god. Deep within the Black Mist Mountain range, a tree about 30 or 40 meters tall stood quietly there, with pitch-black branches and vines hanging down, and the canopy emitted specks of green light. This tree, though a bit strange and slightly different from normal ancient trees, was growing in the Black Mist Mountain range, where it was common to have trees of peculiar varieties. However, upon close observation, one would realize that within 10 to 100 miles around this ancient tree, not a single demonic beast could be found. Although its aura was peaceful and warm, it faintly had an unnerving scent. 50 years, huh? Lin Yuan sighed. Of course, in his current state, he couldn't truly sigh, only the branches gently swayed a few times. These past 50 years had been a period of rapid growth for Lin Yuan. With countless demonic beasts of the Black Mist Mountain range as nourishment, Lin Yuan lived comfortably, and after a tough initial period, he grew stronger every day. My current size now. Lin Yuan examined himself, his height now reaching 30 or 40 meters. Yet, this height was the result of Lin Yuan's utmost suppression. If he didn't hold back, he could easily exceed 100 meters and stand out alarmingly within the Black Mist Mountain range. It might even attract the attention of the Tianqing Alliance leader and several Vice Alliance hierarchs. If that happened, Lin Yuan's true identity would most likely be exposed. If the Tianqing Alliance leader learned that an offspring of the ancestral demon tree had infiltrated into the deep rear of their world, believe it or not, they would likely temporarily abandon their gains and losses on the battlefield, focusing all their strength first on dealing with Lin Yuan. One must secure one's own country before attacking others. The rationale was not hard to understand. Though the height of the demon tree was only 30 or 40 meters now, its roots, however, had already spread tens of thousands of miles underground. If Lin Yuan wished, with a single thought, he could attack from any position within tens of thousands of miles. The roots of plants and trees are always much larger than their trunks. Although the demon tree wasn't entirely a tree, it had the abilities that trees possess. Within a few thousand miles, Lin Yuan carefully sensed around. With the help of his roots, he could control everything within tens of thousands of miles. Even with the extended sensation of the roots, he could detect information tens or hundreds of thousands of miles away. The deepest kings? Lin Yuan's perception spread out, exploring towards the deepest parts of the Black Mist Mountain range. That place was a forbidden zone for all demonic beasts, where the kings of the Black Mist Mountain range resided. Within Lin Yuan's perception, at the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range, stood a reddish ancient phoenix tree. At the top of the phoenix tree, there was a giant nest, and a golden red feathered bird was sleeping. Vermilion bird? Or a phoenix? Lin Yuan did not make any rash moves. He observed secretly for a while, then slowly retreated. After 50 years of cultivation, in terms of combat power, I should be a match for a 6th rank evolver in the main world. The cultivation system of a demon tree is completely different from that of the martial Tao. Chapter 335. Lin Yuan fell into deep thought. Of course, although he had not cultivated the martial path evolutionary path, this did not affect Lin Yuan's ability to use his Against Heaven's understanding to infer and perfect the 7th rank chapter of the martial path evolutionary path. Moreover, some essences of the demon tree were highly referential to the martial path evolutionary path and could be perfectly integrated into it. Outer domain battlefield of evil gods. Lin Yuan's gaze drifted towards the outer domain. Under the instinctive perception from the demon tree, there was an abyss-like aura there, precisely the location of the ancestral demon tree. The ancestral demon tree wants to invade this world, but it's not going smoothly, Lin Yuan thought to himself. 50 years had passed, and he had not sensed the ancestral demon tree advancing even a bit. It was clearly blocked. For the invader, this was a disadvantage. The Tianqing world had the backing of an entire world that could continuously send cultivators to resist. And the ancestral demon tree? Even as a foreign evil god with a strong essence, it was, after all, just an individual. In terms of foundation, it simply couldn't compete with a complete world. For now, it has nothing to do with me. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. In this traversal, he had 600 years to stay in this world. So far, only 50 had passed, not even 1/10, and he still had plenty of time to cultivate. The deadlock between the Tianqing world and the ancestral demon tree was a good thing for Lin Yuan. If the latter were to come to this world before Lin Yuan had grown to surpass the ancestral demon tree, it would be bad. That's why over these 50 years, Lin Yuan had devoured countless demonic beasts in the Black Mist Mountain range, but had deliberately avoided human cultivators. One reason was the fear of being discovered to be abnormal. The other was his reluctance to weaken the strength of human cultivators. As of now, Lin Yuan still needed countless cultivators from the Tianqing alliance to sacrifice their lives in resisting the invasion of the ancestral demon tree, buying him time to grow. However, recently I have awakened a power of the ancestral demon tree. Lin Yuan's mind stirred, and the branches of the demon tree swayed, as a gray and plain seed floated before him. Demon tree seed. Lying beyond the domain, the ancestral demon tree constantly scattered seeds that turned into evil god puppets, battling against the powerhouses of the Tianqing world. As the legitimate offspring of the ancestral demon tree, once Lin Yuan grew to a certain extent and escaped the world's suppression, he could naturally produce seeds. Lin Yuan gazed at the grayish seed before him, the seed of the demon. Up to now, Lin Yuan had perceived three functions of the demon seed. The first was to directly transform into a demon puppet. That was the method currently used by the ancestral demon tree, using its vast primordial qi to nurture the demon seeds, making them quickly grow into evil god puppets. The second was parasitism, where the demon seed could parasitize within a living being, thereby controlling it. The third was natural growth, by scattering seeds onto fertile soil, where the seeds would take root and sprout. Lin Yuan's predecessor, the demon tree, was bred using the third method by the ancestral demon tree. Each method had its advantages and disadvantages, but only the third method could truly be regarded as offspring of the ancestral demon tree, capable of inheriting some of the ancestral demon tree's innate abilities. The first function of the demon seed is of no use to me. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. Using his own primordial qi to nurture the growth of the demon tree seed was not suitable for the current Lin Yuan. What kind of being was the ancestral demon tree? Dominating beyond the domain and amassing a robust accumulation, it dared to use its vast primordial qi to nurture demon seeds. But how many years had Lin Yuan accumulated? Besides, if he had sufficient primordial qi, Lin Yuan would directly enhance himself instead of cultivating something like puppets. And the third effect of the demon seed was even more unnecessary. Even the seeds of the ancestral demon tree, scattered to the Tianqing world, mostly died, not to mention the seeds of Lin Yuan, offspring of the ancestral demon tree. Parasitism. Lin Yuan pondered over the second function of the demon seed. It could parasitize within a certain living creature, controlling it. This ability required many prerequisite conditions, the most important being that the host had no ability to resist. Otherwise, the parasitism would fail. Lin Yuan's mind stirred. Thousands of miles away, a purple-eyed rabbit cautiously poked its head out, gazing at a spiritual herb not far away with a hint of longing in its eyes. Whoosh! The purple-eyed rabbit looked around, didn't spot any danger, and with a whoosh, it lunged towards the spiritual herb. However, just at that moment, a black tree trunk protruded from the ground, directly capturing the purple-eyed rabbit and pulling it back underground. It was all over in just a moment. Purple-eyed rabbit then appeared in front of Lin Yuan. Squeak! Squeak! The purple-eyed rabbit emitted a trembling sound as it looked at the massive figure in front of it, continuously turning in circles where it stood. "I'll use you to test the parasitic effect," Lin Yuan said. Lin Yuan watched the purple-eyed rabbit as a dusty gray seed fell down and precisely landed on the rabbit. Buzz! The purple-eyed rabbit collapsed to the ground with a thud, and that dusty gray demon tree seed quickly permeated the purple-eyed rabbit's head. A moment later, the purple-eyed rabbit was thoroughly controlled. It stood up stiffly and emitted a deeply respectful spiritual wave of submission toward Lin Yuan. This feeling. Lin Yuan observed the purple-eyed rabbit, and under his control, it continuously performed various actions, whether rolling or running. "It's not bad," Lin Yuan nodded slightly. At this time, the purple-eyed rabbit was not dead. It was still alive, but it had been replaced by the demon tree seed. "It's just... this is too obvious." Lin Yuan looked at the purple-eyed rabbit. The rabbit, parasitized by the demon seed, had stiff limbs, a dull gaze, and even its movements gave off a sluggish illusion. It would be easy for others to notice something was amiss. No wonder the ancestral demon tree did not utilize the seed's parasitic ability. It is indeed somewhat limited, Lin Yuan thought to himself. The parasitic ability of the demon tree seed, although it does not require the expenditure of primordial qi to activate, has many limitations. The first of these is that the host must not resist. If they are unable to resist, why not kill them and consume them directly? Why waste energy on parasitism? Moreover, after parasitism, while certainly under control, the manifestation is extremely obvious. In the Tianqing world, it would be difficult for powerful beings not to notice. However, this parasitic ability, can I possibly improve and perfect it with against heaven's understanding? Lin Yuan mused and fell into brief thought. Right after his arrival in this world, Lin Yuan, with against heaven's understanding, devised a method suited for cultivating with the demon tree seed. Now with this demon tree seed, Lin Yuan could certainly perform improvements. Of course, the demon tree seed is a natural ability of the demon tree. Improving and perfecting it would be difficult, but with against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan could still give it a try. In the following period, Lin Yuan focused on 4 areas. One was to continue enhancing his own strength, consuming more demonic and fierce beasts, propelling his own growth. 2 was to perfect the Martial Path Evolutionary Path 7th rank chapter. 3 was to comprehend the remaining core space models. Though he lost the environment of frequent spatial fluctuations like those in the battlefields of different species, Lin Yuan's speed in comprehending core space models decreased. But Lin Yuan now had more time. With 600 years of residency and against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan could raise his comprehension of space rules to an unimaginable level. As for 4, it was to attempt improving the demon tree seed. Even though for the ancestral demon tree the demon tree seed was an extremely important method, Lin Yuan still planned to spend some energy and time on this aspect. He would be delighted with any gains. Even if there were none in the end, there would be no loss. Time again passed by. Suddenly it was another period later. Deep within the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan's form rose another 10 meters. The demon tree was now nearly reaching a height of 50 meters, with dangling branches and swaying canopy, extremely extraordinary. This was even with Lin Yuan greatly suppressing its growth. If he had allowed it to grow freely, the demon tree would be at least hundreds or thousands of meters tall by now. It's important to note that the ancestral demon tree in the outer domain didn't know how many tens of thousands of meters tall it was, and millions upon millions of demon tree seeds grew on just one of its branches. Otherwise, it would not have been able to contend with the Tianqing world until now. For now, I've reached a temporary limit in strength. From now on, consuming ordinary demonic beasts would not yield much effect. Lin Yuan's spiritual waves slowly expanded as he gazed into the depths of the Black Mist Mountain Range. That was the location of the Supreme King of the Black Mist Mountain Range. Chapter 336, Surprises from the Ancestral Demon Tree. The King of the Black Mist Mountain Range was the most powerful demonic beast in the entire range. They belonged to a noble lineage and had long lifespans, yet most of their time was spent in slumber. 10 years ago, Lin Yuan had secretly observed a king, which resembled a phoenix and a vermilion bird, sleeping atop a crimson phoenix tree. However, at the time, Lin Yuan was not confident in dealing with that king. Of course, Lin Yuan's dealing meant to do so unnoticed. The 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range all had to be confronted without causing any major disturbances. Otherwise, alarming other kings could lead to unpredictable consequences. It's about time, Lin Yuan thought to himself. All 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range possess strength ranging from the 6th rank to the 6th rank peak. Now Lin Yuan, also within the 6th rank, should be on par with them in terms of sheer power. Even if one side could win, it would undoubtedly come at a great cost, and it was totally impossible not to alert the other kings. But this only applied to a normal demon tree. Lin Yuan was no ordinary demon tree. Besides the multiple abilities of a demon tree, he also had insights into the space rules, the Taiyin Taiyang rule, and the rule of power. With Lin Yuan's current application of the space rules, it was completely normal for him to create a spatial prison with a wave of his hand, cutting off heaven and earth. This was also the reason Lin Yuan now dared to make a move against the kings of the Black Mist Mountain range. Don't hold back. End the battle quickly. Lin Yuan was determined to ensure this attack went smoothly. The main body of the demon tree was slowly moving towards the deepest parts of the Black Mist Mountain range. At the deepest part of the Black Mist Mountain range, a valley connected to the subterranean fire veins, making the air intensely hot. In the center of the valley, a crimson phoenix tree stood towering, and at its top, a nest housed a bird resembling a phoenix and a vermilion bird asleep inside. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Just then, dozens of black branches quickly approached from all directions, leaving no blind spots, surrounding the nest at the top of the phoenix tree. The next moment, the cold black branches were all incinerated into nothingness by flames. Screech! At the top of the phoenix tree within the nest, the phoenix silently opened its eyes. Who is it? Have you forgotten the pact? The phoenix emitted a terrifying psychic fluctuation, and infinite flames began to permeate the air. Human cultivators and the 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain range had once made a covenant to not interfere with each other. The demonic beasts of the Black Mist Mountain range were not to create disturbances behind the backs of the human cultivators while they resisted the foreign evil god. The 8 kings had no objections to this point. Although the demonic beasts and humans were 2 different races, they shared the same world. If the foreign evil god broke through, countless demonic beasts of the Black Mist Mountain range would suffer as well. Therefore, for the past 200 or 300 years, the 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain range suppressed many demonic beasts, not even starting a single beast tide, all to coordinate with the human cultivators. Of course, the covenant not only restricted the 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain range, but also the human cultivators from disturbing the king's slumber. But now, the Phoenix King did not know what these black branches were, but they definitely did not come from the demonic beasts of the Black Mist Mountain range. As a king, the Phoenix King's noble lineage exerted a supreme oppressive force on other demonic beasts. Those beasts trembled at its sight, so how could they dare to make a move? Thus, the Phoenix King concluded that this must be the work of a human cultivator. This made the Phoenix King even more furious. It had faithfully followed the pact, yet the humans had attacked it. The Phoenix King, enraged, churned its phoenix flames, turning approaching black branches into nothingness. Time slowly passed. Almost half a day had slipped by in an instant. First, the Phoenix King was exceptionally excited. It didn't remember the last time it had exerted full power like this. Beings like the kings of the demonic beasts could not act rashly, or else they would attract the attention of the human cultivators, especially during this critical period against the foreign evil god. But I didn't initiate this, you humans provoked me, so it's fine for me to act, right? I can even go and hold your alliance hierarch accountable. The more the Phoenix King thought about it, the more excited it became. The alliance hierarch of the Tianqing Alliance was extremely powerful, and had many treasures in his collection, one of which the Phoenix King greatly desired. Previously, the Phoenix King was too embarrassed to ask for it since there was no reason, but now that the humans had broken the pact, it had every reason to demand it. Something isn't right. While the Phoenix King was generating phoenix flames, waves of black branches were incinerated, one batch after another with no sign of stopping. What exactly is going on? The Phoenix King began to panic. It wasn't panicking over the unceasing black branches. Although each of these black branches were extraordinarily sturdy, they still couldn't withstand its phoenix flames. It could handle even more as long as it had the strength and stamina. The Phoenix King was panicking because it had been counterattacking for so long, Yet why hadn't the other 7 kings of the Black Mist Mountain range come to help? The power of the phoenix flames was immense, causing great disturbances. Reaching such a length of time with the phoenix flames should have alerted the entire Black Mist Mountain range to what was happening here. Those 7 old fellows definitely should have felt it. Given this, they should have come over by now. The Phoenix King didn't understand. The 8 kings of the Black Mist Mountain range always had a rule to look out for one another, supporting each other when one was in trouble. Chapter 337. This is also a key reason why the Black Mist Mountain range still exists to this day, and why it hasn't been flattened by human cultivators. Even the demon beast kings from the other 9 mountain ranges have similar rules. In Tianqing world, all demonic beasts are subtly united, managing to withstand the oppression of the human race. But now, the Phoenix King surveyed his surroundings. Even if those 7 old fellows are just watching the show and are too lazy to come over, the human cultivators outside the mountain range should have noticed what's happening here, and under normal circumstances, they would have already sent someone to check it out. This is not good. The Phoenix King no longer paid attention to the black branches shooting toward him from all directions. Instead, he spread his wings and soared into the sky, trying to leave the Black Mist Mountain range. However, as the Phoenix King shot tens of miles high into the air, he seemed to hit some barrier, and his form came to an abrupt halt. What is this? The Phoenix King scrutinized the barrier in front of him. Then, following the barrier, he looked in all directions. Upon close inspection, the Phoenix King was shocked to find that he had fallen into a huge spatial prison. Above, below, left, and right were all the same, just like a caged bird. Shrink the space near the Phoenix King by 100-fold, 1,000-fold, or even 10,000-fold, and you'll find a place as big as the palm of your hand, with the Phoenix King's giant form now the size of an ant, frantically probing the surroundings like a headless fly. This is the spatial prison, made up of the 1st core spatial model, the 13th core spatial model, the 21st core spatial model, the 30th core spatial model, the 33rd core spatial model, and combined into a space-killing move. Lin Yuan looked down at the Phoenix King, who was desperately trying to escape within the spatial prison. Similar to the instantaneous movement ability, the spatial prison is another application of different core spatial models, compressing space to confine the enemy and a section of the nearby space to the size of a palm. Using the power of space to create a spatial barrier, unless the enemy's understanding of space exceeds his own, or the force they invoke is more than 10 times stronger than Lin Yuan's, it is very difficult for them to escape. According to Lin Yuan's observation of this Phoenix King, although it resembles the divine bird, the vermilion bird, it fundamentally differs from the true phoenix and has a low understanding of space. Space rules. Lin Yuan sighed lightly. No wonder the main World Human Civilization Alliance requires a deep understanding of space rules to advance to an 8th layer evolver. Without the understanding of space rules, facing a master of such, one wouldn't even know how they died. Now, drain its energy first. Wait until its physical strength, essence, and primordial chi are exhausted before making a move. Lin Yuan looked at the Phoenix King, now the size of an ant within the palm-sized space, and patiently waited. After all, with the Phoenix King now in his grasp, there was no need for a head-on collision. The heat of the Phoenix flames is indeed terrifying and showed a tendency to subdue Lin Yuan. Days later, the Phoenix King's expression was grave, and his aura had significantly weakened. This space. The Phoenix King was beginning to realize something. The space it saw was no longer normal but a prison. Who could it be? Such technique. Could it be the Tianqing Alliance leader? But why attack me, with the foreign evil gods still unresolved? The Phoenix King felt uneasy. Suddenly, at that moment, the space in all directions began to shatter. Seeing this, the Phoenix King's face lit up with joy, and instinctively, it stretched its wings, trying to fly away. Bang! A pitch-black tree trunk pressed down, and numerous black branches swiftly entwined. What is this? The Phoenix King's eyes widened as the tree trunks binding it were now immensely more powerful than the branches it had initially burned to nothingness with its phoenix flames. Who exactly are you? The Phoenix King could only feel that the branches entwining it were voraciously consuming its blood, essence, and soul. In its last moments of consciousness, looking along the branches, it caught sight of a 50-meter-tall ancient tree. The ancient tree exuded a vast, ancient aura while subtly emanating madness and evil. You're not a creature of this world. You are the foreign evil god. You are the ancestral demon tree. The Phoenix King's mind was engulfed by tumultuous waves. Although it had never seen the foreign evil god or the ancestral demon tree, the aura emitted by Lin Yuan at this moment was distinctly different from the creatures of Tianqing world. Has the foreign evil god already infiltrated the Tianqing world? This thought surfaced in the Phoenix King's mind as its consciousness quickly succumbed to darkness. Inhale. Exhale. All the vast blood, essence, and soul of the Phoenix King were devoured by Lin Yuan. Although the Phoenix King's comprehension of space rules wasn't profound, its blood and essence were extremely abundant and of high quality, greatly nourishing and enhancing the demon tree. In addition, the Phoenix King's soul was exquisite, surpassing the combined souls of countless demonic beasts and fierce beasts that Lin Yuan had previously devoured. While savoring the taste, Lin Yuan could suddenly sense 7 mighty presences rising from the depths of the Black Mist Mountain Range. These were the remaining 7 kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range. For days, as the Phoenix King's presence vanished, initially, these 7 kings thought the Phoenix King was cultivating some secret technique. Hence, they did not probe further. After all, in the eyes of these 7 kings, there were only a few individuals in the entire Tianqing world capable of silently dealing with the Phoenix King. And those few individuals were currently fending off the foreign evil god and would definitely not make a move. Therefore, these 7 kings had been somewhat negligent. But now, days had gone by, and the Phoenix King's aura had still not reappeared. Only then did the 7 kings sense something amiss. By the time they joined forces and headed to the Phoenix King's wind nest. Chapter 338. Surprisingly, he discovered that the phoenix tree where the wind nest was located, as well as the valley, had completely vanished. Thus came the scene, where 7 kings jointly erupted with their aura, searching for the Phoenix King. It still triggered the vigilance of the other 7 kings. Lin Yuan concealed his aura and silently observed the positions of those 7 kings. Eventually realizing that they had converged together and were no longer separated, he sighed to himself. With the spatial prison he was currently using, confining 1 king would be no problem. 2 or 3 would be somewhat manageable, but 7, that would be somewhat beyond his abilities. There were 2 ways to break Lin Yuan's spatial prison. One was to have a spatial comprehension that surpassed Lin Yuan's. The other was to exert a force more than 10 times that of Lin Yuan. Under the combined full force of the 7 kings, leveraging their innate bloodline talents, the power they burst forth with was indeed more than 10 times that of Lin Yuan at the moment. Let's take it slow. If need be, I'll just spend more time understanding more core spatial models, then go deal with them. Lin Yuan comforted himself internally. In the following time he planned to continue lying low, until he completely surpassed those 7 kings of the Black Mist Mountain Range. Outside the Tianqing world, at an unknown height, spans countless branches of the ancestral demon tree, its terrifying and malevolent power permeating tens of thousands of miles around. These ants. The ancestral demon tree looked down at a battlefield next to the Tianqing world, where countless evil god puppets charged towards the inside of the world. But they were all blocked by the powerhouses within the Tianqing world. On the battlefield, a man in a blue robe was seated cross-legged, with a stone sword floating in front of him. If it weren't for the protection of the world, the ancestral demon tree stared at the stone sword for a while, thinking unwillingly. It's better to say that it was stopped by the countless powerhouses of the Tianqing world, rather than by the world itself. Both the resilient world barrier and that stone sword came from the Tianqing world itself. Just as the ancestral demon tree was considering whether to abandon this world, it suddenly sensed something under a casual induction. Decades ago, I expended Origin Source to scatter hundreds of thousands of seeds within the Tianqing world, and one seed managed to survive? The ancestral demon tree was somewhat astonished. Initially, to open a rift in the Tianqing world, it had paid a price and subsequently scattered hundreds of thousands of seeds inside, aiming to create chaos in the backlands of the Tianqing world. Unfortunately, the ancestral demon tree still underestimated the suppression by the world itself. The hundreds of thousands of seeds it scattered did not grow, and with the passage of time, they successively died. The ancestral demon tree had already resigned itself to this fate. But now it sensed that one seed had survived. This sensation was very weak due to the interference of the world barrier, but as its offspring, the ancestral demon tree was very certain. Interesting. The ancestral demon tree pondered for a moment, then once again expended origin source. Following the indistinct connection, its consciousness began to cross over. Deep in the Black Mist Mountain Range, Lin Yuan was assimilating the blood and spirit of the Phoenix King. At that moment, in the root area of the demon tree, the mass of pitch-black flame suddenly began to boil. The next moment, a spiritual fluctuation transmitted out from within the pitch-black flame. You survived. This spiritual fluctuation, though faint, was extremely profound. Almost instantly, Lin Yuan reacted that this spiritual fluctuation came from the ancestral demon tree outside the world. What to do now? Lin Yuan thought rapidly. Relying on the spiritual fluctuation from the ancestral demon tree, Lin Yuan judged that the other party was not aware of his specific situation. Lin Yuan's situation was far from being merely about surviving. He was nearly dominating the Black Mist Mountain Range. Ancestor. Lin Yuan's tone was slightly respectful, as befits the posture of a legitimate descendant of the ancestral demon tree. I have indeed survived, but my current situation is rather difficult. I urgently need ancestors' help. Chapter 339, Rapid Growth, Making Great Strides. Lin Yuan had never overlooked the ancestral demon tree because it was the progenitor of his own demon tree. The ancestral demon tree possessed an unimaginable control over any demon tree that grew from a demon seed. Even if they were separated by an entire world, it could still perceive him vaguely, and with a price exert even more methods. This was precisely why, after sensing that the ancestral demon tree was trying to contact him, Lin Yuan didn't make a move. Instead, he honestly portrayed the image of a demon tree that had snuck into the backlands of Tianqing world, surviving through hardships. Of course, Lin Yuan had also prepared for the worst-case scenario. If the ancestral demon tree noticed his abnormalities, growing to the 6th rank peak in just a few decades, the ancestral demon tree, unless it was a fool, would realize something was amiss. But obviously, that hadn't happened, or the ancestral demon tree's first words wouldn't have been, "You survived." Actually, this was also normal. If the ancestral demon tree truly had the capability, despite being separated by a world, to completely understand everything about its offspring, it would willingly lower its consciousness instead of helplessly watching hundreds of thousands of demon tree seeds perish in the Tianqing world. Since he had decided to play the role of a loyal demon tree, Lin Yuan naturally wouldn't refrain from making demands. Lin Yuan clearly understood the purpose of the ancestral demon tree scattering hundreds of thousands of demon tree seeds into Tianqing world at a cost. It was to throw the Tianqing world's rear into chaos, and even become a guiding mark for the ancestral demon tree whose true body was outside the world. Yet, under the suppression of the world, almost all of the hundreds of thousands of demon tree seeds had perished. If not for the consciousness descent of Lin Yuan, this demon tree would have died long ago. Thus, in the current Tianqing world, Lin Yuan had become the ancestral demon tree's only lone survivor. As long as the ancestral demon tree was thinking straight and still had designs on Tianqing world, it would inevitably take some actions to support Lin Yuan. If Lin Yuan died, then the ancestral demon tree would have to fall back on whittling away at the front lines to descend upon Tianqing world. According to the intelligence Lin Yuan had gathered over the years, the ancestral demon tree, facing the united forces of countless powerhouses from the Tianqing alliance outside the Tianqing world, was not gaining any advantage. In front of the Tianqing alliance, backed by a whole world, the ancestral demon tree, lacking any advantage, was effectively at a disadvantage and could not prolong the stalemate indefinitely. The situation is very bad. The ancestral demon tree did not doubt Lin Yuan's words. What a joke, almost all of the hundreds of thousands of demon seeds had died. Saying the situation was very bad was already putting it mildly. The actual situation was probably dire and desperate. Indeed, the ancestral demon tree had underestimated the suppression of the Tianqing world. How do you want me to help you? The ancestral demon tree asked Lin Yuan, following the connection between progenitor and offspring. As long as Lin Yuan was still alive, its initial plotting wouldn't be all for naught, and it would have another possibility of descending upon Tianqing world. At this thought, the ancestral demon tree couldn't help but feel a surge of joy. For 300 years, it had been in a deadlock with the Tianqing alliance, unable to make progress, and even considered giving up on Tianqing world. After all, with the current situation, continuing the stalemate would not bring any change. Tianqing world was certainly a great supplement for it, but it had to be within reach. However, now Lin Yuan's survival had given it hope. Once Lin Yuan grew strong enough, it could simply create a direct space channel to the interior of Tianqing world, with the cooperation of Lin Yuan and the connection between progenitor and offspring. By then, with its essence as a foreign evil god, Tianqing world would have no power to resist, and everything would become its nourishment. Ancestor, I want flesh, I want souls, Lin Yuan immediately said. This was also in line with the typical demands of a demon tree. The growth of a demon tree did not need the support of a realm. As long as there was sufficient flesh and souls, it could rapidly improve. Essentially, the demon tree originated from the ancestral demon tree. The former was an extension of the latter. Flesh and souls. The ancestral demon tree fell silent. Its true body was outside the world. Where was it supposed to find flesh and souls for Lin Yuan? Even if it really acquired flesh and souls, it wouldn't be able to send them in. Fine. Only this left to do. The ancestral demon tree pondered carefully for a moment. A decision had been made in its mind. Stimulated by the ancestral demon tree, a large mass of its demon essence split away. The demon essence was the most core power of the ancestral demon tree. Similarly, the demon essence was interconnected with the ancestral demon tree and its various methods with the offspring demon trees. With the connection between progenitor and offspring, the ancestral demon tree could transfer a portion of its demon essence to the offspring demon tree. Do bear in mind, the ancestral demon tree had never before bestowed origin power upon an offspring demon tree because it simply didn't pay off. If Lin Yuan weren't of great use to it, crucial to whether it could consume Tianqing world, the ancestral demon tree would definitely not pay such a price. This mass of demon essence could create an army of over 1 million evil god puppets. Deep in the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan patiently awaited the ancestral demon tree's response. Did I ask for too much? The silence of the ancestral demon tree made Lin Yuan feel somewhat puzzled. But the next moment, within the base region, amidst the cluster of burning pitch-black flames, a mass of dark power slowly emerged. Chapter 340. What is this? Lin Yuan was startled in his heart. At the moment this deep-colored power appeared, he felt his body begin to tremble, generating a kind of yearning. It was the origin source of the ancestral demon tree. For a demon tree like himself, it was the power he most desired to absorb. It was countless times stronger than those flesh and souls. Devouring flesh and souls required the transformation through the demon tree itself. But the origin source of the ancestral demon tree, that was the purest power, which could nearly infinitely increase the strength of the demigod progeny. Theoretically, as long as this kind of power was sufficient, the demigod progeny could completely grow to the level of the ancestral demon tree. This massive origin source will be enough for your cultivation for a while. Do not disappoint me. The spiritual fluctuations emitted by the ancestral demon tree seemed somewhat exhausted. After speaking, it broke off contact with Lin Yuan. It needed to constantly draw upon the power of the void to replenish its own losses. Origin power of the ancestor? Lin Yuan looked at the deep-colored power, suppressing the yearning in his heart. To bestow such important origin power, are you not planning to let me live? A trace of cold laughter emerged in Lin Yuan's heart. On the surface, it appeared that the ancestral demon tree was making such a great sacrifice to ensure the survival of its offspring. In reality, it was just a transfer from the left hand to the right. As long as the ancestral demon tree could ultimately descend upon the Tianqing world, it could completely devour Lin Yuan, the demon tree, and recover the previously invested origin power. For an ancestral demon tree, a foreign evil god, being brutal and evil was its true nature. Its offspring were merely tools. But when the time comes, it's not certain who will devour whom. Lin Yuan slightly shook his head. The ancestral demon tree wanted to devour Lin Yuan, but Lin Yuan also harbored thoughts of devouring the ancestral demon tree. Lin Yuan was quite curious about such a foreign evil god. The present demon tree was merely a demigod progeny, far from a true foreign evil god. With the origin power sent by the ancestral demon tree, Lin Yuan once again entered a period of rapid growth. Originally, Lin Yuan thought that after dealing with the Phoenix King, facing the remaining 7 kings who were banding together, he would lie low for a while. But the ancestral demon tree was too supportive, sending over such a huge mass of origin, almost equivalent to the volume of dozens of Phoenix Kings. And in terms of the purity of power, the origin power of the ancestral demon tree was leagues beyond those demon beast kings. 1. This kind of origin power is the fundamental power of a foreign evil god. 2. The ancestors' origin power and Lin Yuan were from the same source, and there was almost no need for any transformation. This is truly comfortable. Lin Yuan continually absorbed the origin power, feeling that every branch and trunk of the demon tree was undergoing a metamorphosis. This transformation was fundamental. The demon tree Lin Yuan occupied began to change towards the true body of the ancestral demon tree outside this world. Subsequently, Lin Yuan couldn't be bothered to continue hunting the demonic beasts in the Black Mist Mountain range. Instead, when the origin power was absorbed after some time, he would proactively contact the ancestral demon tree to ask for more. Facing Lin Yuan's request for help, the ancestral demon tree was extremely generous, almost granting whatever was requested. And with the full support of the ancestral demon tree, Lin Yuan's growth speed was getting faster and faster. In the depths of the Black Mist Mountain range, Lin Yuan's spirit was entirely focused on the root area, above that clump of pitch-black flames. This clump of pitch-black flames is the core used by the ancestral demon tree to control its offspring, isn't it? Lin Yuan stared at the pitch-black flames, thinking to himself. The ancestral demon tree was able to contact him and send the origin power through this clump of pitch-black flames. And the demon tree that Lin Yuan currently occupied was controlled all over, except for this clump of pitch-black flames, which still remained in Lin Yuan's blind spot. Every time Lin Yuan attempted to refine this clump of pitch-black flames, he would vaguely perceive an immense risk from the unknown. Does the ancestral demon tree comply with my every demand, providing as much origin power as I want? Because of this? Lin Yuan thought silently to himself. The ancestral demon tree met his demands not only because the growth of Lin Yuan was indeed useful, capable of helping the ancestral demon tree cross the battlefield outside the world and descend directly into the interior of the Tianqing world. The most crucial matter was that the ancestral demon tree could master Lin Yuan's death with just a thought. And the means to do so was through this cluster of dark flames. Add to that the absolute loyalty of the demon tree's progeny towards the ancestral demon tree. Under all these factors, it was what led to such a supportive strength from the ancestral demon tree. In the eyes of the ancestral demon tree, everything it had bestowed upon Lin Yuan could be taken back with virtually no loss. Unable to refine, Lin Yuan carefully observed the dark flames. He discovered that he had no capability to refine them at all. The moment he slightly touched the dark flames, he would be detected by the ancestral demon tree. Then it shall be sealed. Lin Yuan continued to observe the dark flames. The area where the dark flames were located was deep within Lin Yuan's roots. Their influence on Lin Yuan was nothing more than several types, namely a sudden explosion, completely destroying the main trunk of the roots. Therefore, sealing them was the best choice. As for the method of sealing, It required Lin Yuan to use his against heaven's understanding to create one based on his own detailed circumstances and the state of the dark flames. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, another 10 years had gone by. Sealing complete. Lin Yuan's mind converged in front of the dark flames in the root area. Threads of power, like a spider's web, formed countless layers, slowly enveloping the cluster of dark flames. Suddenly all the forces were hidden deep in the space. After 10 years of contemplation, Lin Yuan finally managed to conceive a method that completely sealed the dark flames using his against heaven's understanding. This method consisted of 63 core space rules, and with just a thought from Lin Yuan, space could be isolated. No matter what changes occurred in the cluster of dark flames, it would be impossible to affect Lin Yuan's true body. Finally, it is done. Lin Yuan let out a slight sigh of relief. Once the sealing was successful, Lin Yuan could say he was officially free from the control of the ancestral demon tree. Of course, the ancestral demon tree was unaware of this. In the eyes of such a foreign evil god, its offspring were absolutely loyal to it. There was no possibility of any betrayal. Probably in its wildest dreams, the ancestral demon tree would never have imagined there to be someone like Lin Yuan. 10 years of cultivation. Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today.